Chinese manufactured vehicles are no stranger to the South African automotive industry. Over the past decade, we've seen a huge influx of passenger vehicles coming in from the country, the latest of which is the one behind me. I've got the keys to the Jetour X70 Plus, and this deluxe trim behind me retails for 485,000 Rand. It's cheaper than a hatchback. Welcome back to Santefiremotoring. My name is Bongani. Let me tell you all about it. Before we get into the styling of this car, which I'm sure you can already tell is very extroverted, I need to tell you why this car needs to exist. You see, cars are getting very expensive these days, and a quick Google search can show you that. And what Jetour have done is they've managed to price themselves back into a segment that a lot of manufacturers have kicked a lot of consumers out of. At less than R500,000, Jetour have given us a fully fledged 7-seater SUV, and I think that's exactly what the South African market needs: competition. Now, I'm well aware of the fact that design is a very subjective conversation, but I think I can safely say that the car behind me definitely looks stylish. This ash grey example here does a great job of meeting industry standards from what we expect from luxury manufacturers while still sticking out and giving Jetour a unique brand identity. Starting with the headlights, you get LED headlights with really cool sweeping indicator functionality so that you're not just turning left, but you're turning left. You also get some vertically stacked spotlights over here and red accents, which you'll see is something that carries out throughout the entirety of the car. You get some really interesting materials over here, some gloss black trim, what looks and feels like carbon fiber but is actually a plastic composite. And then over here you get the grille. You can call it the piece de resistance, if you will. Does a great job of giving this car its unique appearance. I like the fact that these triangular little trims here are in chrome. You get the Jetour logo in chrome, not that you would mistake it for anything else, and a sweeping front splitter over here gives the car a nice sporty look. And then obviously it's symmetrical on the other side. I think it looks good. Let's move over to the side. Now, at the end of the day, this is a family SUV. So you are going to get some plastic cladding along the side of your wheel arches over here. The car comes with 19-inch gloss black wheels. Like I said, there's some red accents that continue throughout the entirety of the car. The Jetour logo is circled in red over there. On the side, you get some chrome with the Jetour logo to reinforce the brand identity over there. You get some sweeping chrome under the side wing mirrors, and you also get a camera. This forms part of the car's 360 camera functionality. It is a big car, so using that helps you navigate parking a bit easier. You get some dynamic lines that sweep across the side of the car, and over here with your side skirts, you get a bit more red inserts. I like the fact that it just keeps going. You get some really cool slats over here to give the car a bit more of a dynamic character on the side, and this line just cuts a crease throughout the entirety, bringing us all the way back to the C-pillar. Like I said, you get gloss black wheels, and over here you get the rear tail lights, which actually start on the side of the car. I like the fact that they did that. Let's get a better look at the back. Now, the rear end of cars is where things tend to get a bit boring, but that's not the case with the Jetour X70 Plus. Come have a look. There are small, subtle details that give this car a bit more personality. For example, with the light bar that starts on the C-pillar, you get the Jetour logo embedded inside the light itself and a little triangular pattern. Speaking of the light bar, it stretches across the entirety of the rear end, and it actually sticks out of the bodywork, giving this car a bit more of a dynamic rear end. You get the Jetour logo, a rear view camera, which works in conjunction with the car's 360 camera system, which is useful when you're reversing. The slate gray looks really, really nice, and you get some body lines along the boot as well. Remember what I said about the red accents that continue along the entirety of the car? The X70 Plus is embedded with some red there as well. You get some traditional cladding over here, some sensors to help you park as well, and then you do get chrome quad tailpipes, but those are entirely for aesthetic purposes. And now this is where this car really gets into the swing of things. If I just unlock the boot over here and open it, which is completely automated by the way, you will find a 480-liter boot capacity. Now, the rear 3 seats also fold down, giving you a total possible 1,680 liters of boot space, making this the perfect car for not only the weekend getaways, the family vacations, but also it can handle your daily groceries, trips to the vets with your animals, as well as what? Fitting your motorcycle or bicycle back there? Maybe bicycles, not motorcycles. Like I said, this is a 7-seater vehicle, so if you ever have 2 extra passengers, hopefully kids, that you need to carry around, getting them in the car is as simple as pulling this tab over here, and you can pull the seats up, as simple as that. How convenient. Now I'm going to be completely honest, I was thoroughly impressed with the interior of the Jetour X70 Plus. Keep in mind this car is less than R500,000, so all the features that you're about to get are really value for money. Starting off with the side of the door over here, you get electrically controlled seats with 3 memory seat functionalities over here, and you get some nice red contrast stitching on the synthetic leather inlays inside the door panel itself. You get your traditional mirror and window controls and a fairly decent sound system. Moving over to the dash, I like the fact that they've continued the red accent stitching over there, as well as this red inlay that you get alongside with the vents. One really cool feature that I like that they added, you get a really dynamic pattern inside this dash over here, really giving the interior of this car a bit more personality. Moving over to the gadgets, you get a 10.25-inch infotainment display. Half of the screen is reserved for driver information, and the other half of your screen is reserved for your entertainment functionalities. You do get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Using the screen on the left, that's how you change car settings as well as your climate control functionality. You get a start-stop button, a bit more chrome around the vents over here, and you'll notice that you get touch capacitive controls that are very convenient for changing your climate control settings. You get some nice inlays, very similar to what you get in the side of the car, as well as wireless charging with vents which seem to blow cold air into your phone so that it doesn't heat up. You get a 6-speed automatic transmission mated to a 1.5-liter turbocharged engine. And you might be thinking to yourself, such a small engine for a big car? Well, in the drive later, you'll find that it is more than enough to handle your daily needs. You get a automated parking button over here. This is where your hazards and auto start stop functionality are. And then this is how you raise and lower your volume. Around this volume knob, you also get more touch capacitive buttons, which are really cool. I like the fact that it feels like a premium car. And I know that people were complaining in this car's sister car, the Jetour Dashing, that it didn't have cup holders. I'll reassure you that this car definitely does have them. It is in the space over here. You can put your key here, but you can also put your cup holders. Moving over here, you get really, really big interior space in the center console. But I think one thing that you'll absolutely fall in love with is the fact that this car comes with a panoramic sunroof, which is super easy to use. Just one flick of the button, you can tilt the sunroof, one more flick, and then it opens up entirely, which does a great job of adding some space into this cabin space. Well done, Jetour. Let's quickly check out the back seats. Now, the rear 3 seats of the Jetour X70 Plus are just as comfortable as the front 2. You get the little luxuries that you come to know and love in the front seat and the back as well. The red piping along the seats extends into the rear occupant seat as well, with this really soft to touch synthetic leather that you get along the entirety of the car. One cool feature, quite standard amongst the automotive industry, you get 2 extra cup holders if you lower this little tab here in the rear seats. Now, one cool thing is that, and I showed you this earlier, these seats fold flat entirely to increase your total boot capacity. And to access the rear 2 seats at the back, the additional seats, the last 2 seats to make it a 7-seater, you can just move these seats forward and fold them forward so that you can access the back. I'm going to show you what it's like in just a second. Now, getting into the last 2 seats of the Jetour X70 Plus is a relatively simple process. All you do is you pull a tab on the corner of the seat, and the seat will fold forward and automatically roll forward with a little bit of effort. And after that, it's as simple as getting in and out. Usually this is the kind of space you'd reserve for children, but I'm going to get in for journalism purposes. And as simple as that, I am in back here. You do appreciate the fact that there is a panoramic sunroof, which does a great job of elevating the space in here. But you know what? I'm excited to go for a drive. Let me jump in the driver's seat and give you a feel of what it feels like there. So you join me on a drive inside the Jetour X70 Plus. And I think one thing that strikes me as soon as you get into this car is the comfort of it all. Think about the demographics that this car is pointed towards and who are marketing this car for. It's a family SUV, and you use family SUVs on things like road trips, the daily commute, as well as, you know, the weekend trip that's quite occasional. But I think out of what I've had so far, it's definitely a comfortable car. On the bigger side of things, you do get a whole lot of road presence, which is a good thing. You know, you're hard to miss on the road, and because of that, there are less chances of horrible things happening. I've got great visibility on both the side windows as well as the dash over here. I got this nice long looking bonnet with power lines across, and I think it gives the car a bit more of a demanding stance from where I'm sitting. The multifunctional controls on the steering wheel make it easy to navigate the two screens over here, doing things that I would usually do, like setting my cruise control, as well as just going through the different driver information that I would need on a day-to-day drive. The ergonomics are actually really good too. I did mention that your seat controls are in the door here on the side, so maneuvering these and making changes is actually quite simple. Over here I've got my climate control functionality, which is also really nice and easy to use. And I think overall what Jetour have done is that they've given us a premium feeling car in a what is otherwise a very affordable package. I'm quite excited to see what they do with the brand recognition that they continue to build in the country, but from what I've experienced so far, I am thoroughly impressed.